Okay, so today we're going to look into something pretty fascinating. Renewable energy projects bumping right up against national security concerns
Yeah.
in India specifically.
Hmm.
And we're looking at, a pretty heated debate that went down in the Lok Sabha. That's the lower house of India's parliament, right?
Right.
And this whole thing was kind of sparked by a report in The Guardian
Yeah.
about a renewable energy project that they're trying to, build really close to the India-Pakistan border,
He's near the border.
like really close. So I'm curious. I mean, what struck you as the most like concerning part of all this?
Well, I mean, it's got to be how close they're putting this thing to the border.
Yeah.
I mean, in India, they have this standard security protocol.
Hmm.
They're supposed to have a 10-kilometer buffer zone for any infrastructure projects that are close to the international border.
10 kilometers. Wow.
Wow. Makes sense, though, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you've got to have room for troops, surveillance, all that stuff.
Right. You need that space.
Just in case. Plus, it creates a sort of, I don't know, like a safety cushion.
Right.
Less chance of some kind of accidental like cross-border thing happening.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So this project, though,
Well,
this is like what, 1 kilometer from the border?
yeah, about that.
I mean, that's crazy close.
It is.
It's like they're putting solar panels right in the line of fire, basically.
Yeah, and that's exactly why everyone's making such a fuss about it in Parliament. I mean, you had the Congress Party, the opposition.
Yeah.
They were basically accusing the ruling party of, completely bending the rules
Right.
just for this one project.
Right.
Like, they're putting private interests ahead of national security. And, I mean, they even walked out of the Lok Sabha.
Really?
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
I mean, that's a pretty big statement.
It is.
So, okay, so the government's saying everything's fine.
Right.
The renewable energy minister, he got up there and told Parliament that they did all the security checks.
Sure.
All the approvals are in place, blah, blah, blah. But there's this other piece of this.
Oh, yeah.
The Adani Group.
The Adani Group, right.
They're the ones involved in this project.
That's what really gets people going, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, the Adani Group, it's huge.
Massive conglomerate.
Yeah, tons of business interests in India.
So them being part of this, it just adds fuel to the fire, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
People are already worried about the government playing favorites with certain corporations.
Right, right.
And this just makes it look even worse. It makes you think about, how transparent things really are.
Yeah.
When you've got these private companies involved in these huge national infrastructure projects,
Yeah.
especially when you're talking about something this sensitive, this close to the border.
Yeah. I mean, how are we supposed to make sense of all this? I mean,
Yeah.
it can't just be about this one project.
Oh, no, definitely not.
It feels like this is something bigger.
It is. This is like a global trend.
Yeah.
Like countries all over, especially ones that are, developing really fast, like India, they're all under so much pressure to go green.
Yeah.
Switch to renewable energy, meet all these climate targets.
But those targets, I mean, they're important, right?
Oh, absolutely. Essential.
But sometimes it feels like they could be causing problems too.
They can, especially in a place like the India-Pakistan border. I mean, there's a lot of tension there.
Right. Yeah. So how do we balance this? I mean, on one hand, we need clean energy
Yeah.
globally.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you've got like very real security concerns.
Exactly.
What do you do?
It's a tough one. I mean, if a country just focuses on renewable energy, no matter what, it could look like they're not taking security seriously.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But if they only focus on security, they might fall behind, in terms of like the global shift to clean energy. And then they could end up with economic problems, environmental problems.
Right, right.
It's a real catch-22.
It is. What's really interesting to me is like how this one debate, this very specific thing in the Lok Sabha, it kind of shines a light on this much bigger global problem.
It does, yeah.
It makes you think about like, what are we willing to give up? What are we willing to prioritize?
Right, and it raises even more questions too. I mean, is there any way to do both?
Yeah.
To have clean energy and security without having to compromise? Like, could you come up with some kind of, I don't know, some kind of innovative security solution
Yeah.
to make it safer to build these projects close to a volatile border? Or, I mean, is there always going to have to be some kind of compromise?
That is a really good question.
Yeah.
It makes you think. I mean, what if you were the one making these decisions? What would you do? How would you balance the need for clean energy with, keeping people safe.
Right.
It's a tough one. There's no easy answers. But it's definitely something worth thinking about.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.